What's happening to A up here? Ben. Good. What's happening to A right here? Emmy. Good. What's happening to A right here? Joe. Wow. Look at how important multiplication is in mathematics, that we have 3 different ways of representing it. There's a tribe in Africa, I think, or is it up north, one of the indigenous people's languages, where they have like 34 different words for love. That's how important it is in their society. The concept of love. They have 34 words for it. This is how important multiplication is. We have 3 ways of saying it. But for mathematics, that's a lot of different things to do one thing. Mathematics, we generally, if you remember when we did the plus and the minus and the multiply and the divide, we had like 20 different English words that said addition. They meant in math addition. So English is very long-winded, whereas in mathematics we try and just keep it to one tiny little thing. When I have a 4 right next to the variable like this is called a coefficient. We're going to see lots of coefficient work as we move through grade 8 and into grade 9. A coefficient is a quantifier. It's telling me how many A's I have. How many A's do I have? 4. That's it. 4 times apples. 4 apples. That's all that's saying. This is a quantifier. It's multiplying. Okay. So pay attention to that as we move through our equations, because this is the way we normally write things inside of our equation, not with these multiplication signs. This is old school. It still happens, just not too often. This is very common. This is all the time that we will see a multiplication written. Okay. Yes?
If it's all the time, then how can the other one be very common?
Okay, cute. It's just that we build up, right? There'll be elementary school teachers who just kind of don't even know these last 2, because all they teach is this multiplication sign. 2 times 3, yes? Right? Okay. So I'm just joking around. When I say all the time, I mean more often than not.
It was a joke.
Yes, okay. All right. I had somebody come up to me today, and they sat down with their homework, and they said, my dad showed me a quicker and easier way. Let me show you what they did, okay? My dad showed me a quick and easier way. 6r minus 6 is equal to 12. My dad's way makes so much more sense to me. They did this. Okay, so that's a minus 6. I'm going to add 6. And that's a multiply by 6. So I'm going to divide by 6. Mr. Masterman, your way was way longer and way more confusing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for realizing that it's the exact same thing, with the one extra little thing that I asked you to do at the very beginning. What did I ask you to do at the very beginning? I will not ask you this in grade 9, but if you practice this and it becomes second nature to you, it's like riding a bike. It's like riding a bike. You just do it. You don't think about it while you're doing it. It's like driving. We don't sit there going, oh, I'm going to crash, I'm going to die, or I'm going to hit that guy on the bike, or no, we just do it. And that's kind of part of the problem, is we're not always thinking about what's going on, and sometimes bad things happen. But you just get so used to it that you don't even think about that you're doing it, and you do it. What did I ask you guys to do before you get into this meat of it?
To write down what's happening to the...
What is happening to x here?
Yeah.
What is happening to x here? Being multiplied by? Yes. I'm going to undo that by dividing by 6. So I appreciate the snickers and the, well, that's what you said to do, right? It's funny because you go home and all of a sudden it's like a completely different context. What else is happening to r here, or x? The unknown, if you will. N? What else is happening? We know it's being multiplied by 6, and then there's a subtraction by 6. Make that go away. I'm going to add by 6. Perfect. Which one do I do first, and how do I know? Yeah?
Add by 6 and subtract by 6 first because up there.
It's the because that I want. You're absolutely right, but why? Damn. Reverse BEDMAS. Okay? This is why this is so important. Or SAMDEB, if you want to call it SAMDEB, that's fine too. Okay, this is what their dad didn't go through. But the problem is you don't want to mix up which one you're doing first, and this is the reason why. Don't be the paramedic who hops out of the ambulance with a Band-Aid gun and says, "There's a guy, there's a guy." Okay, guy's lying on the ground, he's bleeding internally, and you're shooting him with a Band-Aid gun. He's covered in Band-Aids. The damage is inside. Okay? You don't just start doing things. We need to analyze what is going on, and then we can do everything properly. Okay. No. But it's a funny thing to imagine. And if you want to do like a little comedy sketch thing, like Kids in the Hall or something, or Second City TV, there's a good sketch for you. Paramedic comes out with a Band-Aid gun. Okay. All right. Maddie, tell me something that I'm going to have to undo here. What is happening to X? By? You betcha it is. 3 is being multiplied by 3. To make that go away, Ethan.
You're going to have to change it to divide.
I'm going to divide by 3 to make that go away. This is why this step is so important, to make sure we know exactly what we're supposed to be doing. The rest is just doing it. What else is happening on this side? Ben?
It is being subtracted by 3.
Good for you. This is how good Ben is. Ben didn't know what we were talking about.
I did know what we were talking
No, this is what he did. He looked up here and he's like, what did they already say? Multiplied by 3. Then his eyes drifted over here and goes, okay, they're missing the minus 3. No, that's a good news. Okay, good for you. What am I going to do to get rid of that, Grace?
You're going to
Add 3 to
Both sides.
both sides. Both sides. We got to make sure we're doing these things to both sides. We don't write both sides, but we got to remember that we're doing it to both sides. If you need to do this so that you know where both sides is, please do so. Some people love it, some people hate it. But this is just making sure that when I do one of these things over here, which is to add 3 and then divide by 3, what side am I going to be doing it to? This helps you visualize what's going on. Which one am I going to do first, the divide or the add?
Divide.
B-E-D. I'm doing reverse BEDMAS. S-A-D. S-A-M. SAMDEB. Okay, I'm going to do this one first. I'm going to do this one second. Okay, nobody likes to be second. All right, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. When I add 3 to both sides, I'm going to, this is actually pretty deep, and we don't really talk about this until we get into grade 9. This is called collecting like terms. What did I just say, Emmy? Terms, good. Collecting like terms. These things are similar things. This is 3 xylophones. This is dollars. I can pair my dollars together. These guys cancel out. I still have 3 xylophones, but I need to add 3 to both sides. I have a 9 and a 3. Those can go in together, and I get 12 over here on this side. My last step. Ben? I divide by 3 on both sides. I love it. Do not press 3 divided by 3 into your calculator. Don't do that. It's just making this disappear. If you want to plug 12 divided by 3 into your calculator, kind of a little bit of a tear comes down the side of my ear. My ear. I cry out my ear. I don't know about you. But That's okay. At least this is excusable. This over here, you're just making it go away. You shouldn't have to calculate it. It's poof, gone. X is equal to 4. And don't get me wrong, 12 divided by 3. If you're having a brain fart, I gotta tell you, sometimes I sit at home and I just like stare at the wall going, I should be able to do this in my head. 5 minutes later, I'm like, okay, I'll use a calculator. All right. But I refuse to give up that easy. Okay. We have 3x minus 3 is equal to 9. Let's just refresh our memory as to what we had done last day. Last day we had visualized this because today I'm going to take it to a bit of a next level. Are you listening? Too much talking. Okay. I had 3 x's. So I only have 1 x here right now. I'm going to make 3 x's. Clone. Clone. I have 3 x's sitting on my scale. I had what else is on that side? Help me out, I forget. Very good, minus 3.
You're welcome.
I had 3x minus 3, yeah?
Yeah, and then we had,
No.
oh,
9. There was 9 on this side at the beginning, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, look at that. 9. Okay, buddy, you're going to fall off. Get in here.
All right. We're so happy to be here.
Okay. So, here I have 3 minus 3, 3x's minus 3 is equal to 9. What if I did this, and here's where I'm taking it to a bit of a sidestepping new level today, because I want to practice this a little bit while we're here. What if I did this? Right now, again, 3x minus 3 is equal to 9. What if I did this? Yeah. Yeah.
it's the same thing, minus 2, 3x.
Say it again. Minus 3 now is in the front. Okay. It's the same thing, but hold tight. It's just I'm looking at it a little bit differently. I'm moving the negative 3 to the front. What moves to the back on this side?
3x is 3x.
Okay, but I can't just write 3x.
You have to do then times 3.
What is going on? What is in between these two things?
Like you can put a dot. It's being
It is not being multiplied.
It's
It's being added. This was a positive 3x right here. There's 3 x's sitting right there. All I'm doing is I'm moving them to the, sitting in the front. They were up here originally. All I did was move them to this side. I'm taking that positive 3x and I move it to the back. And I'm moving the negative 3 and I'm moving it up there. Emmy, can you come sit up here then? If you guys can't focus. Thank you. Okay, so if I have a piece of paper saying I owe Caden $3 and I have 3 pens in my hand, if I put them over here, does that debt of $3 turn into $3? No, it's still a debt of $3. Okay, I still owe him $3 no matter what hand I put it in. Okay, people are staring off into space, and this is like critically important stuff. That's okay. I want to talk about dinosaurs. What were you just saying? Oh. It's a chicken in a sombrero.
That's not a chicken. That's
Are
not
you guys never 2 years old and 3 years old? It's a chicken in a sombrero.
I came out of film.
That kind of looks like an otter.
No, I
Not a 2-year-old.
was born up.
Okay.
Not.
This is where I'm going with this because this one is a little bit hard to analyze. What is happening to R? Quiet, please, and put up your hand if you'd like to answer. Aaron. By?
14.
Not correct. Jessica.
It's being multiplied by negative 14.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. You want to take this sign with the 14 to make your life easy. What's the difference between negative 14 and a subtraction of 14? Nothing is different. But there's easy ways to look at it and there's hard ways to look at it. It's really easy if you just package the negative with that coefficient. Package the negative with the 14. So this is being multiplied by negative 14. What else is happening to it? What is happening on this side that I'm going to have to make go away? Leah. Adding 2. There's a plus 2 sitting here. I need to make that go away. I'm going to subtract by 2 on both sides. A to B. Divided by negative 14, and I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. Which one am I going to do first, Lane?
Minus.
Why?
Because bedmass is flipped, like you said earlier.
Sam, Deb, or reverse bedmass. Good. We're doing it in the opposite order here. So I'm going to undo this first, then I'll undo that thing next. I'm going to subtract 2 off of both sides. I'm going to minus 2 and minus 2. I'm going to do what's called collecting like terms. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things. Okay. These guys cancel out. I get negative 14r is equal to 14 minus 2. 14 minus 2 is 12. Oh, poo. I think that's supposed to be 4r. Yeah, I wrote 14. It's supposed to be 4. Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We're going to get a fraction, and that's life. Big deal. Don't worry about it. What's my last step to get r all by itself? Owen? My last step here to get r all by itself?
I am brain farting.
Hey, he's having a brain fart. At least he's not going to stare at me for 5 minutes. And yes, let's wiggle that smell away. What am I going to do? Maddie! I can't hear you because everybody's clicking and clacking and making all these tiny little noises, and then you're hiding behind a bar and I can't hear you. What is happening to R? I can't hear you. Help me out. Help. There we go. There you are. Amara bent down for me. And therefore I'm going to divide it. I want to make this multiplication by 14 go away, and that should have been a 4. That's okay. I will divide by negative 14. So I get 12 over 14, which is a bit of a nasty number, but it reduces to 6 over 7. There it is. It's a fraction. I'm not going to verify that because that's too much fraction work. Why is that not working? There we go. That's a 7. There we go. Very thick 7. What if I took this and I rearranged it? What if I took this piece and I moved it out front, and I took the piece in front and I moved it to the back? What would that look like? Say it again? No. No. You're changing what's happening. Yes. This piece right here moves to the front. This piece right here will move to the back. Negative 14r. And the plus 2 just comes after it now. Some people really will like to look at it like this as opposed to this. The problem is this: when you look at this and you say, oh, it's being multiplied by 14 and it's being subtracted by 2. That's not what's happening. That's not what this is saying. This is a positive 2 sitting there. This is 2 filled in blocks. This is 14 negative r's sitting there on the scale. If I move them on the scale, do I change what they are? No. No, 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 no. I would love to take this pen in this hand and put it into this hand and turn it into a Lamborghini. Whoa. I would love that. Do you know how many Lamborghinis I would have if I could do that?
55.
55 billion.
One, because they'd have to pay tax.
They'd be like, I'd just be, hey, here's the Lamborghini for you. You be quiet. Have a Lamborghini.
And the insurance for
You didn't do your homework? No Lamborghini for you.
The insurance for Lamborghinis.
Yes. Can you? Okay. Okay. Why is this equation different than the other two equations that we just looked at? How is it different than the other two? Adrian? Yeah, this one's a little bit weird because it's just backwards. There's nothing wrong with that. If I had the scales and I took the scales and I just moved them positions, does that change the value of the scales? Does that change the fact that the scales are equal to each other, the weight? No, it doesn't. I could rearrange this. I could write this as, if that pleases me, that's okay. It's still equal to each other. If I flip them, they're still equal to each other. What is happening to x? Now we're going to talk about the next stage of this game. Joe!
X being multiplied by -10.
You bet your own it is. Times -10 to make that go away. Ethan, I will.
Trinit, you have to do a +10.
No.
No.
Oh, no, sorry. You have to do a divided -10.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to divide by -10 to make that multiplication by -10 go away. What else is happening here that I have to get rid of, George?
The subtraction.
There's a subtraction of?
1.
Good. And I'm going to do what to make that go away? Cade? Cade, what am I going to do to make that go away?
+1
On?
the other side.
On both sides. Et le but. Et le but. What does that mean?
A la boo.
Et le but.
A+B.
Quand vous voyez les jeux de hockey de le Canadien de Montréal,
Here for the Montreal Canadiens.
l'annonceur va dire et le but!
They will never win
Goal!
the
And the
Stanley Cup.
goal!
You like the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, back in Ontario, we rooted for the Montreal Canadiens. Do you? Why?
And you like Toronto.
Okay, so which one are we going to do first?
We're gonna.
Jordan!
We're gonna do the add.
Yes, very good. We're going to do this one here first. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Then what am I going to do, Danica? How about I finish this before I do the next step? What a good idea! Here we go. -10x is equal to 29 plus 1 is?
30.
Yeah. Now, Danica, what am I going to do? What now? Yeah! Awesome. It got out. Sooner or later, we got it out. There we go. X is equal to. Now, positive divided by a negative gives me a negative. So I don't have to worry about the positives and negatives here. Okay? Don't go plugging positives and negatives into your calculators when you're dividing and multiplying. You should know that the answer is going to be negative. And then how many 10s fit in 30?
2.
3. And there's your answer. Okay. Next step, 3 examples, then we get to work. Here we go. The beauty of doing what I'm asking you to do means we can do a whole bunch of different kinds and styles of problems without having to learn new things. We just apply what I've asked you to do, and you will get right answers. For example, this is a slightly different thing that we've seen before,
That's scary.
but it is exactly the same thing that we need to do right now, which is to ask what is happening to X. What is happening to X, Olivia? Tell me something. It is absolutely being divided by 2. To make that go away, I'm going to Lane.
You're gonna divide times.
By? Yes. I'm going to multiply by 2. What else is happening, Case? It's your turn.
It's being minus by 3.
It is, and to make that go away, Riley, what's the opposite of minusing 3? Positive 3, adding 3, absolutely right. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Which one am I going to do first? Caden.
Reverse bad math, so the positive and negative
And then I'm going to?
is that one second.
Nobody likes to be second. unhappy face.
First to worst, second to best.
No, that's just people say to first player, first place because of games.
Oh, that's not
They
nice.
say that second place.
That's why I like math and not sports. In math, everybody can win. All right. I'm going to add 3 to get rid of the minus 3. I'm adding 3 to both sides.
Plus 8.
I get x over 2 is equal to 8. Last step, Emmy. Oh, that was so much better than when you're sitting in the back and I have to kind of pull your attention back to what's going on. Awesome. X is equal to 16. The answer is done. Now, quick little check. 16 divided by 2 is 8 minus 3 is 5. Good. We just made sure that it worked, and it does. Okay? This is grade 9 right here, solution. You go through, you list what's happening. You don't have to list, but in your mind, you should be well practiced enough to be able to look at this and know what's going on. And then undo those, and then a quick little check at the end just to make sure that you're right. Because in grade 9, if you understand the main idea, that's an acceptable proficiency. If you can apply the main idea to some new situation that you haven't seen before, that's a mastery. In grade 9, just understanding what is going on does not get you good marks. Being able to reliably do things and get right answers gets you full marks. Okay, people with proficiency can walk into grade 9 and start getting 60%. And parents go, but they were proficient last year. Yeah, but this year, you gotta cross your T's and dot your I's. You gotta put commas, you have to capitalize your first letters of every sentence. These are things that must be done in order to get the marks. So don't walk into next year thinking that your proficiencies and masteries guarantee you perfect scores next year. It's process and practicing the process. And I tell you right now, I have kids walk into grade 9 going, this is really easy. That's what I want for you. Okay, next example. Here we go. Follow the procedure, get right answers. X over negative 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. What is happening to X? Aaron, tell me something. You betcha it is. It's being divided by negative 3. The opposite of division by negative 3 is?
Multiplication.
By?
3. By negative 3.
On?
Both sides.
Both sides! It's funny how quickly we forget. Times negative 3. I'm not going to write both sides, but it's implied on both sides.
You sound like you're doing.
What else is going on here? Lane, what else is happening on this side other than the division by negative 3?
X or negative 3 is being added by 2. I think that's what
There's an added by 2 on that side that I'm going to have to make go away. I'm going to make that go away. Leah! I'm going to subtract by 2 on both sides. Which one am I going to do first? George? Which one?
Oh, the addition.
I'm going to undo the addition first. Bedma says him. Bedma says not him. Okay, I'm going to subtract by 2 on both sides. Both sides. There's both sides. There's the river. One side, the other side. Plus 2 minus 2. Those poof go away. X is being divided by negative 3. What a nasty thing. I have 5 minus 3, 2, which is 3. Sorry, I'm thinking and working out loud. Isn't that bad word? Multiply both sides by negative 3.
D was negative.
X is equal to 9 times 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Positive times a negative is a negative. Easy peasy. Okay. Here you go. Nah, let's just do the 2 examples. I'll save that other one for tomorrow when we recap. Yes?